going through some Leafeon strategies and coming up with ideas, I don't think Leafeon is played enough. That I think it should be used a bit more compared to what's being currently used at. When we look at stats, it has a 110 attack with a 95 speed. That's better than a lot of Pokemon we've seen up to this point that I've tried to pass off as sweepers. And you have a 130 defense to give you some natural bulk as well. And also, Leafeon has a lot of other things up its sleeve that make it work. I think that the biggest thing holding Leafeon back, though, is its typing. Unfortunately, it's a pure grass type, which gives you a lot of weaknesses, which makes it hard to be kind of like a speedy kind of or mixed bulky sweeper that I'm going to try to make Leafeon into later. So it is hard on that you have a lot of fairly common weaknesses as well. And overall, your stab, you get resisted by quite a bit. You do hit rock, water, and ground super, but overall, it's going to be kind of tough to make it work. Hopping into Pokemon Showdown, though, I think that Leafeon has some incredibly strong potential that if we look at it, my idea here is Chlorophyll Sweeper, that you do have to dedicate a good amount of resources to making Leafeon work. Once you get it set up, you can pretty much end your opponent's day relatively easily by just bringing out Leafeon. That what I was thinking is that you set up Chlorophyll, some Pokemon with Sunny Day or Drought ability, give them a Heat Rock so you have many turns of sweeping, and then you just roll from there. That the hit points is going to make it to where you can get a good Swords Dance off. That you could also go with a Focus Sash Swords Dance. My idea here is open up a second item slot. Life Orb is going to give you a ton of damage. Go into Swords Dance, and then with that 95 base speed, you don't have to invest anything to get into over 450 speed at level 100 and outspeed almost every Pokemon in the game. Yeah, you're going to be able to outspeed pretty well with this Chlorophyll. After Swords Dance gets set up, 700 attack with Stab Leaf Blade, Knock Off, and X-Scissor. I think it's going to score a lot of KOs, and Life Orb is going to secure that. Also, I think this is one of the very, very rare times where Shell Bell can work. Because the thing about Shell Bell is, if you don't one-hit KO your opponent, it's the same as Leftovers. So with this, you're going to be able to one-hit KO your opponent. The idea is you're going to be trying to tank that hit with your hit points, with all this hit point investment to get that Swords Dance set up. So over the course of 2 KOs or so, you're going to get a nice little chunk of health back that might help you once Chlorophyll wears off. So it's one of the rare exceptions I see Shell Bell being very solid. After that, we look at some Swords Dance baton passing options that you can just use Leftovers, go with that substitute set up Swords Dance, baton pass, or just use Leaf Blade for yourself. That as long as you're not encountering anything super effective, Leafeon is going to be very strong with that defense and some decent hit point bulk. So try to set up a Swords Dance and baton pass. Since Leafeon is a EV Pokemon, you have to have a baton pass strategy at some point. It can baton pass the Swords Dances. If you can get some Calm Minds in it from an Espeon, that's how you make an evolution team work. Just a huge baton pass chain of pain and destruction and whatever you need. That also, when you're looking at Leafeon, you can run a tankier set. This is the Verlis set. Set up that Careful Nature, go with Curse, and then just go hit point special defense investment. Curse is going to carry over your defenses, and you're good to go. We keep seeing Chlorophyll here because it is kind of the best ability, that even this set, even though you're lowering your speed from Curse, you can get a speedy Curse off before your opponent. And then even then, you might, depending on how slow they are, you might be able to get that second Curse before they can even attack or Synthesis to heal up. So getting a speedy setup, even on the defensive strategy, is alright. Leaf Guard, I don't feel it gets as much use as Chlorophyll. But with the rest of this set, the idea is you set up Curses, you gain +2, +3 attack, you have Synthesis for sustain. Leaf Blade is going to be very awesome for damage and knockoff just because it could be a tanky Pokemon. If your opponent's switching out, you might be able to knock off more than one item off of your opponent's team, which can be devastating while being a very solid tank. Over 300 hit points, 250 on that special defense, and then a monstrous defense. And since most of the metagame is physical, Leafeon's going to do very well, except for those weaknesses. And then I was coming up with a double battle strategy that what I like about this is you can have a Pokemon that has Drought, setting up Sunny Day or something like that, and just use Swords Dance. First turn, set up that Focus Sash. As long as you don't get double focused, you're going to be very strong. I just have the hit point bulk here because if you survive, it's just good to survive with extra hit points overall. And then you can sweep it out from there, that you're setting up that Sunny Day, so hopefully other Pokemon on your team can make use of that. And then you're just going to have that Swords Dance already up. X-Scissor Protect, or X-Scissor and Leaf Blade to make a quick KO. Protect, try to absorb an opponent's hit. And if you have, since it's doubles, you can have a Pokemon like Charizard Y, throwing out Heat Wave next to it, or trying to focus out the other Pokemon that you aren't focusing yourself. So it can be pretty solid, and I do like the idea here. And that's pretty much it. So Leafeon, it's very strong if you have Chlorophyll. If not, you can use this tankier set, like the Chlorophyll is just a nice option. But all the other ideas, you kind of have to rely on being that super fast Pokemon, dishing out the incredibly strong hits. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. That's how you use Leafeon.
Sup guys, Dimitri Vegas here.